So this will be my final part of reading Diary of a Wimpy Double Down. So let's get into it straight away. When Rowley finished that last drawing, he was white as a ghost. One reminded him the wounds were just candy, and that calmed him down. Was scared. Back to the kitchen. The man runs into the room with a towel around his waist. Husband, honey, don't use the water, it's... But it's too late. The woman is a skeleton. Woo! Now I really started to lose Rowley. I had to remind him that this was all make-believe and we had a plastic skeleton that we were going to use for the scene, but he was practically hyperventilating. I realized maybe this was a good place to add some comedy, so I put in a line of dialogue, and that brought Rowley right back. Husband, well, I guess this means I'm single! Wink. After that was taken care of, it was back to the action, and the next scene was a big one. The man looked outside. The house is totally surrounded with nightcrawlers. Huh? Oh no! Husband, oh no! I'm surrounded! I better call the cops. The man puts the phone to his ear and dials 911. Husband, hello, is this the police? I'm calling to report... Wait, what the... A worm crawls from the phone into the man's ear and out the other one. Husband, aye! Dies. After I finished writing that scene, I realized this was taking too much time. Plus, there were some scenes I hadn't figured out how to shoot yet, like the battle between the mayor and the 500-foot king nightcrawler at the end of the movie. Since we weren't gonna get this whole thing done in one day, I decided we might as well get started and shoot the scenes we just wrote. I found my parents' camcorder in Mom's closet, and luckily, there was a film cartridge in the camera bag. We also borrowed some clothes from Dad's closet for Rowley's first costume, and even though the pants were a little long, they were more and less fit. We shot the opening scene, which took about 3 times longer, and then shoot it because Rowley had trouble remembering his lines. Hi dear, I'm home for breakfast. To take a shower. Have you seen any worm? Dang it! After that, it was time to film Rowley as the guy's wife. Rowley wasn't comfortable wearing one of Mom's dresses, so we settled on some yoga pants. We didn't have a wig, so Rowley wore a hoodie to cover his head. It wasn't like I had imagined it, but sometimes we have to keep things moving. After we scraped things up in the kitchen, we went upstairs to fill the bathroom scenes. Rowley didn't want to get his hair wet, so he wore a shower cap, and we found underneath Mom's sink. I found Dad's bathing suit in one of his dresser drawers, and Rowley put that on and got into the shower. It turns out the shower scene was a lot harder to film than I expected. I had to shoot Rowley from the waist up so he couldn't see he was wearing a bathing suit. Plus, I hadn't really thought through how to make it look like the worms were coming out of the shower head. And nothing I did looked right. Eventually, I settled on just throwing worms at Rowley's face. Hope it didn't look realistic when it's all edited together. Splat. I couldn't find where Mom kept the food coloring, so we had to settle for some ketchup for the blood. It was a little too thick, but it wasn't the worst thing in the world either. Squirt. After we wrapped things up in the bathroom, it was time to go back to the kitchen. We shot the skeleton scene pretty quickly, and the hoodie added something extra to it. At this point, it was getting a little late, and I was worried we weren't going to finish shooting our scene before my parents got home. So we hurried outside and got to work spreading the gummy bears around the yard. But I wasn't satisfied with how this scene was coming out. There just weren't enough worms to make it look scary. I decided we were going to have to dip into the other bag of gummy worms. to make the scene work. But when I opened the door to the laundry room, I got a nasty surprise. I was trying to figure out what to do with the pig when I heard Rowley screaming in the kitchen. So I ran out to see what was wrong. A bunch of geese were going to town on our gummy worm, so I opened the door to try to scare them off, but they wouldn't budge. Once the geese finished off the gummy worms, they wanted more. I closed the door and me and Rowley hid under the kitchen table to try to figure out our next move. I told Rowley the only thing geese are scared of the other animal. Before I could say another word, Rowley was at the window with Manny see and talk. Dog, dog, dog. Now the geese were pecking at the windows and I was scared we didn't do anything. They might actually break in. That's when I remembered the last time Roderick went trick-or-treating, he wore this awful roof mask, which was still down in the basement. I figured if anything was gonna scare these geese off, it was that. Me and Rowley ran down to the furnace room to find this mask. The whole Halloween costumes were in a box on the fourth shelf, so it was a two-man job to get it down. I got up Rowley's shoulders and reached for the box, but when I did, I knocked the snow globe off the shelf, and when that happened, the witch went off. Clackle, 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 clackle. I grabbed onto the shelf and the whole storage unit came crashing down. When the dust settled, we were both lucky to be alive. Once Rowley got free, he shot out of the basement so fast, I think he might actually taken the stairs 4 at a time. And once he got out of the house, Rowley didn't stop. He climbed halfway up the big tree on the side of the house, and that's where I found him blabbing nonsense. I tried to talk to him into coming down, but he wouldn't budge, so I got a tennis racket and some balls to try to knock him down, but that only made him climb higher. Unfortunately for me, that's the moment when Dad came home. Oh no. It's been a pretty crazy couple of weeks since me and Rowley made our movie. I've been too busy keeping up with my journal because Dad has made me working in the furnace room every night, sorting through all the stuff that fell off the shelf. I tried explaining to Dad that we were just making a movie and things got out of hand, but it was like talking to a wall. I thought Mom would be a little more understanding, but turns out the tape in the camcorder was Manny taking his first step, and we recorded right over it. So I started cleaning up this mess in the furnace room, and meanwhile Ronnie is drinking in his newfound fame. A news crew came out, recorded the moment the fire got him down off the tree, and the footage of the dramatic rescue spread like crazy. Ronnie hasn't been back to school because every morning talk show wanted a piece of him. What's really annoying is that in all of these interviews, Rowley hasn't mentioned my name once, even though I am the one who made him famous. But these days, he pretty much acts like the world revolves around him. I guess that's what fame does to a person. All I can say is, you never see me making a fool of myself just to get a cheap laugh from the people watching at home. Dog. Okay guys, that's the end of the series. If you want me to read the next book, I'll see you at Thursday. Bye bye.